My hand's stable, I feel able to turn the tables. I could do this, just keep moving, keep your hands up, stupid. I feel lucid, a new viewing. I can see the end, I can see my future, I can view it. It's right there for the taking. Everything I've ever wanted, dreams are just waiting. I just gotta fight for it, willing to die for it, willing to like sort of.
Hey, greetings from the year 3000, it still sucks. This is Philip J. Price, and you're listening to the Drunken Turkey Show, your one-stop for this sort of thing. Hit that button, like and subscribe. You know what to do, just like every other podcast.
Just like every other podcast. Sorry about the delay, y'all. Welcome back to the Drunk Turkey Show. I'm Daniel. Alongside with me is Big Blue and Jaime. How you guys doing? We'll start off with you, Big Blue. How you doing tonight?
I'm doing good, man. Doing good. You know, I had to conceal my location because I don't want y'all to know where my bunker is. So I want to make sure that
you're prepping already. You're prepping already.
I am.
What about yourself, Jaime? How you doing tonight, my man?
I'm doing pretty good. I like the blue light that Blue has. It's perfect.
It's perfect for the theme as well of the show today. The theme. So today we're doing something a little bit different. We're getting off the true crime stuff, and we're going to be diving deep into a movie that just came out called "Leave the World Behind." It's been under a lot of scrutiny, mainly because there appears to be some hidden messages in the movie, some things that you're seeing. And it was also produced by former President Barack Obama and his wife Michelle Obama. First and foremost, when you heard this, that there's a movie, right, I want to start off with you, Big Blue. You hear that there's a movie out there, Leave the World Behind. It's possibly an end of the world type of movie, and and it's produced by a former president. What was your knee-jerk reaction? What did you think, first and foremost?
Well, actually, I saw it before I knew he was one of the I guess co-writers, creators of it, because he wasn't the director.
No.
So and I once I found out he made it, the ending made sense.
Really? What about you, Jaime? You actually are the one who turned me onto the movie. What were your thoughts about it?
Well, I turned you on. I don't know if it was about the movie. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, man. When I first, actually, one of my buddies told me about it, right? And he's like, "Hey, man, you should check out this movie. I think you and your friends would like it." And I'm like, "All right." It's like, I'll check it out. And I'm be honest, like I was like, His favorite actor is Adam Sandler. I don't know if I should take that, in consideration. This movie he's recommended me, right? So I was like, all right, I'll check it out. And then later on he's like, hey, Barack Obama and his wife produced it, right? And I'm like, oh, I'm definitely gonna watch this now. So I watched it and I was like, oh my god, for him to be a producer, it kind of makes you feel like maybe there was some truth in it. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
That he knows a little bit. Well, obviously, he's gonna know a lot more about the government than we do, right?
Yeah,
and maybe he knows he's putting out there like a message, trying to tell us that what the future might hold.
Maybe, perhaps. I was not. I heard about the movie. I heard it was produced by Barack Obama. I had no idea what it was about. And then I heard it was like an end of the world type of movie, and I was still like, whatever. And then Hyman tells me that the cabal could be involved, and I was like, wait, what? That's what perked my ears and my eyebrows, whatever you want to call it. And I was like, all right, maybe I do need to watch it. I watched it once. I've watched it twice, maybe 5 times now, and I've gone back, looked at it frame by frame, broke down as much as I possibly can. One thing you guys probably need to know about me: when I get invested in something, I'm like hyper focused on it, very detail oriented. I'm probably on the spectrum somewhere, but that's how I am. That's kind of what happened with the Coburger case. I got involved with it, got deep dived into it until I figured out what happened. But let's deep dive into this. what were you gonna say, Jaime? Oh, you're gonna cough. All
I
right,
was
let's
gonna
deep.
say when
Oh,
I
go
was
ahead,
getting
Blue.
my bunker ready, those containers lie, guys. Those containers say it's food for a year. It lasted a month. I tried one.
That's for your average family of 4, Blue.
Yeah. Damn it.
All right. So, first thing that I saw was on the cover of the poster. Now, do you think they did this on purpose? People are pointing this out, that they line up Julia Roberts, um, Mahershala Ali, Ethan Hawke, and Myha'la, and those letters align to spell the word ball, which has been known as a little bit of a satanic type of name. So what do you think about that? Do you think that's just pure coincidence? They just lined up when you put them down the middle like?
Man, if the movie has so many messages, I'm sure this is a message too. It's not a coincidence.
Oh,
Either.
this is just the beginning of it, my friends. The beginning of it. There's another one coming out called Civil War. Y'all gonna love it. It's a lot worse scenarios than this, and this stuff's already happening to us. I think I sent y'all the video the other day of what happened to the MGM Grand this past weekend. They got cyber hacked. The hackers wanted what I think 15 million. They didn't pay. The Bellagio paid. The whole weekend, all their gambling system was down. The hotel was down. They had all the people staying there couldn't even get their luggage. They had to flag down the hotel workers to open all the doors with keys. I mean, it's possible. They can do this. We just blinded by what we don't want to see.
Yeah, 100%. And this film here, in my opinion, when I watched it, when I saw it, I thought this was more of could have been a horror film, because the stuff that happens in this film isn't far-fetched of what could happen in reality, right? And they make some interesting claims or statements that make you think that maybe perhaps it has happened, or not so much has happened, but has been attempted. And we'll go through it, but before we get into it, first and foremost, you guys have seen it. Your thoughts, your knee-jerk reaction to the movie. Did you think it was good? Did you like it? What did you think it was about?
I actually did see it already twice, and because I was falling asleep here and there a little bit, so it was a little slow in some parts. Some parts didn't make really much sense.
No, it made
But
all sense to me.
I mean, the part where like the flamingos come fly and land in the pool, and you're like, okay, this is a northern state. The patterns are getting messed up, but flamingos. I mean, it could have been,
Oh,
an
there's reasons
ostrich
behind
running
that.
around. I know they have little secret messages here and there. So, and just the music, like the suspenseful music. I like that type of music, so I thought that part was pretty cool. Oh, Daniel jumped. Oh.
He's like, yeah, I'm out of here.
Yeah.
The feds got to him. He's like,
Julia Roberts trying to dance to 90s music. It was too much for him, guys.
You know what? I was going to tell you the same thing. It's like, I didn't like that scene. But
yeah, that scene was a little far-fetched and off,
I ain't gonna lie, I like the movie. I know a lot of people don't like the ending. I like the movie, and I don't think the ending's the ending, of course, right?
Yeah.
I know there's gonna be more to it. So, but I feel like
Sorry.
the movie itself, what I got from it from the beginning was that the wealthy are gonna be the protective ones, and the poor or the middle class are gonna be the ones who are gonna have to, try to survive. That's what I got from it.
Interesting. Yeah. See, what I got from this was, I think that this is the Great Reset being put in place. For those that don't know what the Great Reset is, there's been a theory that's been out there that, the world without borders, reset in wealth and economy and debt, the whole 9 yards. And in this movie, there's a lot of reference to a show that was out a few years back called Mr. Robot. Now, it's been confirmed that this movie and that show live in the same universe, so they're part of the same world, so to speak. And there's some interesting things that come out there as well. They talk about, an evil, supreme leaders that rule the world, similar to a cabal, is what is described here in this movie. And they're also the hackers that are behind some of the stuff that's happened in the past that they referenced during this movie. Yeah. And the reason why it was happening in Mr. Robot was for a great reset. They wanted to reset the debt. They wanted to clear everybody's from loan, this, that, and a third. And so I think that this is a continuation of that, but at a much deeper root, and I'll explain that. We'll get to it. This is only going to be part one. We're probably going to do 2 parts of this. We're going to break this down into 2 parts. This is a 2-hour movie. It would be pretty difficult for us to go through all of it in an hour and explain everything that we want to explain. But these are the main characters of the movie. You're going to have Clay on the right. You have Amanda, his wife, next to him. On the left, you have GH or George and his daughter, Ruth. These are Clay and Amanda are renting an Airbnb. Ruth and George here are the owners of that house. So just kind of preference that aspect. But real quick before we start, I want to thank Heather for being a member for 9 months. Thank you so much. And Angel D for being a member for 8 months. You guys rock. We appreciate you guys.
He is a really good actor. I want to say he did really good work.
Oh man, I thought all these guys did an amazing job.
And I did like the dancing scene. It just reminded me too much of Elaine dancing in Seinfeld. You know what I mean? When she starts kicking, and I'm a Seinfeld fan, guys. Sorry.
So am I.
So the first thing I want to point out before we actually get into the breakdown of the movie is you see this painting here in the house. This painting is going to show up a couple of more times. This is another time in the background of the film. All right. It's the same painting, but as you can see, it's not the same painting. Obviously, there's a change in it. And then again, this is towards the end of the movie where it's just complete chaos. So I say this or preference this to say that there's going to be a lot of things that are hidden in this movie, and to pay attention to absolutely everything. We're going to go into this very, piece by piece. So let's break it down. Let's get into it. So this takes place in New York City. And this is the opening scene. You're going to have Ethan Hawke. He's asleep. This is Clay. And anything you notice about this scene, guys, right off the bat?
That they, they're following me. First of all, I like blue.
You're going to like this movie.
And the other thing was those paintings that are back there, the black and white paintings.
Yeah,
it's funny because right over my bed I hanged up. It's like a banner, like a big banner, but it's of these old, I would say, Asian style ships getting pummeled by tidal waves, from like a tsunami.
Mm-hmm.
Told you, man, they're following me.
They're following you. What about you, Jaime? What do you notice? Anything at all?
Well, I mean, there's 2 clocks on there, first of all.
Yeah, there is 2 clocks. What time do you got on those things?
6:30.
You have a cup here that says 76, but that 7's hard to read. So you got a 6 on the cup. You got a 6 on this clock, and you got a 6 on this clock.
Mm-hmm. Weird coincidence.
Yeah, I'm gonna say, do you think it was placed there on purpose, or do you think it's coincidence?
It was placed there on purpose. I'm gonna go with that. It makes too much. It's way too many. It has to be a coincidence.
Unlikely.
Yeah, highly unlikely.
I wish I could get a clearer picture of what these books are. This is the first time actually going through the pictures in detail. I've spent majority of today just kind of putting them together. I ended up coming up with like hundreds of images that we're going to look at and break down. I don't know if there's anything or everything on every single one of them, but that's the luxury that we have. We're going to be breaking it down. Now, one thing I do notice is that this wall is cracked on this side, and there is some other cracks on the wall on the left side, indicating foundation problems.
Yeah.
All right. So is that in my opinion, a message like, hey, there's foundation problems? Blue, I think that there's a lot of blue in this movie because blue is what, when you look at the political political side of things, blue is Democrat, red is Republican, right? So I think that that's kind of a political push, in my opinion. What do you guys think about the blue color? What does it mean to you guys?
I think they're just fans of mine. No, I'm just messing. It could be. It could be. There's a lot of hidden agendas in this movie, and I saw another a video on it where the Obamas had a nice briefcase full of notes that they kept bringing stuff out, and even some of the staff said, "Hey, this stuff is pretty crazy where they're getting all this information from."
Right.
And the cracks on the wall, I mean, they're trying to keep the authentic kind of architectural look in those buildings, and those walls they separate sometimes from the wood, so you're gonna have those kind of cracks. They just didn't have a good person fix them.
Yeah, but this is a movie. You can make your set look like however you want. I think they were purposely put there. What do you think, Hannah?
I think when it comes down to the blue, I think it does have that kind of agenda towards pushing their agenda, political agenda, right?
Right.
But also with the foundation, all the cracks, it kind of almost seems like it's trying to tell you that maybe this couple are not having the best relationship. It
Yeah.
could be fractured.
Mm-hmm.
I think that to me at least, that's what I think it might represent.
Yeah. And in this scene, for those that haven't seen it, and for all those that aren't aware yet or haven't figured it out, spoiler alert, complete spoilers throughout this entire show. We're going to break down everything. During this, moment, this is when Amanda here is explaining to Clay that she's booked an Airbnb out in the middle of nowhere, that the Airbnb says, leave the world behind. And it's outside of the city, and she tells Clay that she effing hates people, right? And that's the realization that she had early that morning. So this is them on their way. I was trying to see if there was a time on here or anything, or who she's talking to, but it don't say anything. I think it's probably mom. The daughter in the back, her name is Rose. She's infatuated with the movie Friends.
Yeah.
And this is when things start going awry. The movie stops, or the show stops working, meaning that the internet has gone out at this time.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
See, the Friends was they're telling us something, that Friends was an evil series.
It could have been,
and that's, I mean, a coincidence. One of their main actors accidentally passes away.
Oh yeah, dude, that just happened too.
Yeah.
So they have 5 parts of this movie, and we're going to go into, I think, the first 2, maybe 3. And the first one is going to be the house. And this is referencing the Airbnb house that they just purchased or just rented out for the weekend. It's a very beautiful home inside and out.
Yeah,
and this is where the first painting comes through. You're going to have Amanda here. I just want to call her Julia Roberts. I might call her Julia Roberts every now and then, guys. I'm bad with names. Or Pam. I might call her something random. Just FYI. So Julia Roberts loves the house. She goes through the home, and at one point, this is another part of the house. There was something crazy about these. I want to say that they were from India. Yeah, it was like an India type of thing. And I took a screenshot of this because I wanted to see the painting in the background, if that one changed also, but I never saw it again.
Doesn't that chandelier look like it's beaming down something?
Like aliens?
Right?
It could be. Kind of does. And so this is the house. She's impressed by it. The Wi-Fi password is a novella. And for some reason, that means that it's a cyber tech type of, or it gives her the idea that the owner of the house is into computers and cyber tech, right? Blue, what is your idea of a novella?
Diez en una casa.
A Spanish soap opera, for those that don't know.
Yes,
That is
sir.
also a novella.
Marimar.
Yeah. There's a new one called Diez en una casa, and it's funny, man. It's a comedian novela.
Betty la Fea.
Hey, I'm not fair.
I have no idea what you guys are saying, but I appreciate it.
He called me Ugly Betty. That's what he called me.
Ooh. All right, so this is the room that they're going to be staying in. In this room here, you can see that there's a painting in the background of the wall is of some waves. As this movie progresses, you're going to see this water line go higher and higher, and the waves get more and more violent. What do you think that is a representation of, Jaime? The changing of the waves throughout the movie?
I think. Hold on. I don't know what's going on. I can't see you guys.
We hear you and we see you.
Yeah.
Oh, the changing of the waves.
Yeah.
I think it's just the more destruction is going to come. You know what I mean? Was it the calm before the storm, right? Kind of thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then
What
like
about
the
you?
higher the wave, the bigger the crash of it.
That's true. What about you, Big Blue? What do you think about the waves? It is also available on Netflix.
Yeah. When I first saw it, I thought it was okay. You know, it's relaxing being at the beach. You know, it's kind of like a relaxing feeling. But when you, like you said, when you start seeing like it climb more and more, you're like, whoa, man! It's like something dangerous gonna happen. Some devastation's coming. Like I said, chaos, and that's why like the drawing I got on the side of my bed, it's the same thing. It's like, you know, you can imagine you being the one in the boat and the tsunami coming over those huge waves and, you know, trying to destroy you. Same theories.
See, for me, I think that the waves get higher and more violent as the more turmoil there are in their relationship, her and Clay's, or as more things get crazy. Right now, it's already crazy. She's struggling with like people. She don't like people. Clay seems to be kind of like a hippie type. You know what I mean? So completely different types of individuals. Maybe there's a little bit of rockiness in their relationship, and I think that might be a symbolization of that, in my opinion. So they end up taking off and they go to the beach. Now, this is where they head out. Now, exit 76. 76 was on the cup, so that's something that is of point of interest. And you have Point Comfort, and this is where they're heading to. And again, they're all wearing some sort of blue. You have a blue shirt on the on Archie, the older sibling. You have a blue cover over Amanda, bluish clothing on Clay, and blue shorts on Rose.
Clay's wearing the same shirt. He just unbuttoned it.
Mm-hmm.
I think he did. What ends up happening is they're sitting down, they're enjoying, you know, the beach or whatever, and you end up seeing this ship coming down towards them. Now, who notices it first is going to be the little girl, Rose. Now, she was the first one to notice that there was internet problems because she was watching the movie or the show Friends, and that's when it went out. She's the first one to notice this ship getting, you know, increasingly closer. And as it approaches, it completely crashes on land. Now, you have White Lion written on this boat. Now, one thing I forgot to mention is I think this is like Chesapeake Harbor and Bay. And while they were sitting there, Clay says that this was a natural harbor, and you know, it's been around for a long time, and that ends up being wrong to a certain extent. Back in 1619, I want to say it was. It comes out. The number will come out later. But it was 1619, a ship called White Lion landed on this bay with the first African-American slaves. What do you think about that representation here? It's the same beach, a ship, same name.
Yeah,
What do you think the theme is starting to be at this point?
well, I mean, coming from the producer, you know, I'm sure there were activists in their own right. You know what I mean? Even
Yeah.
before, even before the president presidential run and everything like that. I'm pretty sure that activism had to do with it, and this is part of the way of telling them, kind of like a
Yeah.
nudge of bringing back old history.
Oh yeah, there's a lot of history that's being brought back in this, 100%. So you have, in my opinion, I think this is starting to paint a picture. One, that you have a lot of people who are oblivious to their history. One, he talked about this being a natural harbor and it was utilized for trade, not really knowing that it was for slavery. There's the name White Lion on a ship. They don't put two and two together. There's a lot of stuff in this that's been canceled, in this show. And so they're basically trying to say that, people are oblivious. They're not woke, is what I saw. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think in that scene too, if I remember correctly, there was a couple of people wearing red, and I think they run the opposite way.
These guys?
I think they were like wearing red or something like that, and I can't remember that scene. I think it was that scene. A little bit farther in the movie, I think there was a part where like the people wearing blue take out to the left, and the other ones take out to the right.
You see somebody over here by where this umbrella is, as it's coming out. Two guys walk up to it, and then as the ship crashes, they don't move. And then you see one of them, everybody's running, and then they're pretending to take film of it, right? And they should have already been like engulfed by the damn ship. And then you see one of them point at the other one, and they look back and see everybody running, and then they run off. And I was like, they messed up. Because that was probably the best scene that they had. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, I thought that this was all right. This is where this movie's going. You know what I mean? There's going to have some racial undertones under it, and it's going to be pointing at some ignorance on, or they're claiming some ignorance for Caucasian folks, and that basically, I felt like they're calling everybody racist for this to a certain extent, in my opinion. What do you guys think?
I
I
mean,
think it does have the tone.
it had a little bit of that in the movie.
Mhm.
It's brought out a lot by the actor Ruth. Not that she is, but like she's countering it with more, I guess,
Yeah.
upset and madness about it. That it just, that's one of the parts of the movie where like, it's another one of those movies again.
Yeah. Well, at this point, some deer. This is when they get back. They get back to the house. Internet's not working. Telephones aren't working. Nothing is working. They see some deer outside, and Clay even says it's a good omen. He tries to hook up with Amanda Ish. He says that she's like, "Hey, I'm gonna go to the store, get some stuff," and he's like, I know something we can do pretty fun, and she just walks away from him, leave him there. But I wanted to take this shot because I think this shows it's almost noon, so that must have happened really early, right? Yeah, it had to have been early.
No, well, I think Clay is like a super pacifist, right? Like it sure seems he portrays that.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And there's some information that shows that. So this is the marketplace that Amanda goes to go buy some groceries. It's called Point Comfort Marketplace. Notice the blue around it as well. Her vehicle is blue. What does that say? Use Tines? What do you think that license plate is trying to say right there?
What is it? U3E TNE6? Is that what it is?
Yeah. Yeah. I wonder if anybody can figure that out. U3E TNE6. 6.
Is it a 6 or 8?
I think that's a 6. Yeah, it's a 6. I wonder what that means. I got to look into that. I wonder what that means.
Yeah.
And at this point, we get our first view of Kevin Bacon. His character is named Danny. Strong character, strong name. I don't like his hat, but
Because his name is Danny, he's the strongest character.
He's the strongest character, but he's making a mistake with that hat. He's loading up some stuff now. If you look closely at some of the things inside of his, he's got food supply inside his truck. He's got bottled water that he's loading.
Those are supposed to be for 1 year, guys. 1 year.
1 year.
They sell them at Costco.
You have Harbor Rice.
Kirkland rice.
This is the interesting thing, because in the show, Mr. Robot, everything is built by the E Corp or Evil Corporation. This is their logo. This is another sign. Yeah, this is another sign that they're in the same world, same universe. And as she's leaving, the camera pans into her vehicle, and you see this book, Beach Towel. This was a book that is made up and is from that show, Mr. Robot. So this is the connection to that show. Who is also, I think it was produced or not produced. It was Sam. Can't remember the guy's last name. He directed this movie. He's also the director or maker, writer of Mr. Robot. So they get back. She gets back with some wine. They start drinking. Then they start playing a game of Jenga. Anything stand off to you guys about this?
Nah, they ran out of wine already.
What about you, Jaime?
Not necessarily.
Really? You know what came to my mind as soon as I saw that?
What was that?
This image.
Oh, you mean? Oh, you're talking about? Okay, now I see. I mean, if there was 2 Jengas, then that would have been. Yeah, but now I know what you mean.
So you have, and for those that aren't aware of what this image is or where this is from, this is a painting of George W. Bush throwing or within his hand a paper airplane, 2 Jenga towers knocked down, one of them with an airplane on top of it, one of the airplanes still in his hand. Now, this painting was hung up at Jeffrey Epstein's house on his island, alongside with this picture too. I don't know if anybody's seen that one. If you guys want to get real crazy, look into the theory about the red shoes.
Red shoes. That's crazy as shit, man.
Yeah.
All right. So the first thing that came to mind was this. Now, when I first saw this painting and where I saw it at, it made me think that perhaps maybe George W. was under somebody's finger, or maybe somebody was aware of some of the things that were going on. It was often theorized, or it's been often theorized that the United States may have had something to do with or had knowledge of 9/11 prior to it happening, and it was allowed to either happen or they did it themselves. I mean, it wouldn't be the first time. I think it was JFK that denied. I can't remember was it Big Pigs of Bay? I don't remember. But apparently, what they wanted to do back in the 60s was the CIA wanted to ambush and kill American citizens on a cruise ship and make it look like Cuba, so that America could go and have a war against Cuba. And JFK turned it down. A few months later, he gets assassinated. That's for another show, another day. But
I want to say
if they were willing to do that once, why you don't think they'd be willing to do it again?
I think
definitely.
There's a lot of stuff they do. I think it's on Netflix, right?
No, actually, it's on Amazon Prime. That's where I'm watching. Here's a crazy thing. If you go back and you watch Mr. Robot and you watch the premiere, the pilot episode, there's a scene where the main character, he's a hacker, he hacked in. He's in love with this one girl that works with him, and she's dating some dude, and he hacked into to his account, right, to go see some stuff. And one of the things he says he doesn't like about him is that he's a fan of George Bush. You got Jenga and you got George Bush. If I had my little thing, I'd say boom, because that's what it sounds like to me. You know, there was a lot. You know, in the pilot episode of Mr. Robot, it starts off with him talking about the cabal as well, and doing a great reset, and then later on he talks about George Bush.
Boom.
You know, I don't believe in coincidences here. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Especially, I remember. Were you the one who sent me that 3-hour the fall of cabal or something? Was that?
Oh man, you can't use those words together in a YouTube show. We'll get to
Oh well, too bad.
Yeah.
Anyways,
It
I saw it. I can't find it anymore.
Pinterest has it. I think Rumble might have it. Yeah.
It
If you get on Rumble, you'll probably find it there.
Yeah, Hyman said the fall of the bra, guys, not the other thing.
Yeah, fall of the bra, not cabal, or the bra. It's 3.5 hours long. You don't want to watch it. Part 2, The Curve. And this is where we meet the owners of the Airbnb for the first time. All right, so there's a knock at the door, and Clay goes and gets it's like this pipe thing that was used as an art display. But check out his shirt, Bikini Kill. Do you know who that is?
That one I don't know.
No. They are a feminist band. Super feminist, power to women, whole 9 yards. I think their first one of their albums, their first single was called Pussy Whooped, which is kind of an example of what he is in this movie. What do you guys think?
Oh, definitely. I think, like I said earlier, I think he's a pacifist. He doesn't stand up to anyone. Even like on the later scenes, you can tell right away that left alone, I don't think he can survive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's like super dependent on technology.
Yeah. And I mean, I believe he's a professor as well.
Yeah.
So, you know, I see where, you know, the activism on his side as well is there. He's a little bit more trusting as well, as you guys will see. So here's the image of them meeting for the first time. Now, do you think that this is symbolic of anything? We'll start off with you, Jaime.
Yeah, I was gonna say that scene right there, the specific scene you get. For me, it feels like the separation of you know, like almost like a race kind of thing, you know.
Yeah.
Like in where Ethan Hawke and Julia Roberts is at, it's like kind of feels like they're saying they're better off, and even though like they're the owners, the what's his name, George and I can't remember that
Ruth.
Ruth, even though they're the owners, like they seem like they're more empowered because they're actually inside the house itself. And there goes Danny. I knew I should have not said that. I knew I should have not said that. And since we're using his StreamYard, they're like, yeah, we're gonna get this guy off the internet. I mean,
yeah,
off the internet, not get him off.
I don't know why.
But yeah, for me, that scene, that's what it looks like, the separation, or almost like separating the race, or you know what I mean?
Yeah, I agree. I mean, you have light inside and you have the white folks. You have it dark outside and you have the African American folks outside. So it kind of is very symbolic of that. And this is the item that I said that he had grabbed to defend himself before he opened the door. So they're explaining to him that they're the owners of the house. There was a blackout in the city. They were at a symphony. They live on the 14th floor. He has a bum knee, so he doesn't want to climb up. It's basically their entire story. Do you buy that story that they were in the city? They live in the city, black out, and drive out to the county. Or would you be suspicious as well? We'll start off with you, Jaime.
Yeah, I would totally be suspicious, especially like if the only form of communication they had was email.
Right. That's true.
I would have been super suspicious.
Yeah, man, you got to be careful with that kind of scenario because you hear all these crazy scenarios that have happened lately, with people saying who you think they're supposed to be, but they're not. And I think I sent you all the video about the scenario earlier, which is crazy.
Yeah. Yeah. And so he asked if we can come inside. George, the entire time, was very like calm, understanding. They kind of came off a little bit confusing because there's like, we didn't know we wanted to come on through the side door, come to this door, we waited outside. And so I get the whole suspicious stuff aspect of it as well. But at this point, they're asking basically to stay, and they're saying that they would stay in the basement. And Julie Roberts basically says, I don't feel comfortable staying with, and then she pauses and look at old boy's face. And then she goes, strangers. And you can tell, or people I don't know. And you can tell that he was like, whoa, what are you about to say? Like, what did you think about that? What do you think that, well, first and foremost, what does that tell you about Clay if he thought that she was going to go there?
Well, I think first of all, like even when in this specific scene, like you can see that he's not gonna do anything. Like that she's pretty much the boss in that household. That she has this, especially for he's sitting down and she's standing up. This is a lot. But when it comes down, when it comes down to for him like kind of waiting, it almost seemed like he knows what she was wanting to say, but didn't really say it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like he was like, "Oh," and then okay, never mind. She pulled it off, guys. She pulled it off. We're good.
That name goes perfectly on there because she owns a pair. That's what I was trying to say.
So do you think that maybe she said things like that in the past?
I believe so, especially because she's saying that she doesn't like people. I mean,
yeah,
could have.
Yeah, I mean, if he's showing that much concern, that tells me that she's been openly about certain things in the past, and that he was concerned that it was going to come out in that moment. They've been drinking, they've been, they're not in the right mind frame. They've been surprised in the middle of the night. So, yeah, I can see why. But I'm not saying I can see why he's concerned, but I do see why, if that ended up being the situation, why he would have thought maybe perhaps she might say something. She asks for his ID to prove that he is who he is. And he says, you're not going to believe this. I left it in my coat pocket when I checked in at the Symphony. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah. First of all, I thought he was wearing his coat, but he meant his overcoat.
Yeah.
Yeah. That would have made it just a little bit more suspicious in the beginning. From going from not knowing who you're talking to on the email to where they knocked, to the story, to them not having that ID, and then later on fumbling with the keys. It's just all those kind of bring legit concern, and suspicious.
Oh yeah, dude, I agree with you 100%. And then they get like this, like I would have been like, whoa, like if I was that dude, I'd have been like, all right, at this point, you're going to have to prove that this is your house somehow, some way. You don't have your ID, you show up in the middle of the night. Granted, power is out, everything is out, things like that. But he also did make a statement that was weird. He's like, this is why I preferred the day before the internet, because we would have talked on the phone. You would have heard my voice, things like that. And so I thought that comment was pretty weird. But while they're talking, an alert comes out and they get distracted by the alert. And during that alert, the Jenga towers fall. Now they fall on their own. Nothing's thrown, nothing like that. What does that tell you guys, if anything?
This is the beginning of the fall.
Beginning of the fall, yeah. What about you, Blue?
I didn't have a meaning to it, but I know there is. I just thought you know, the tides are turning because, you know, I honestly thought there might have been an argument at this point after when I was watching about them staying there.
You know, for me, this was the first or the second time, I think, or the validation for myself. Yeah, I saw the Jenga pieces. I immediately went to the George Bush painting. I saw the Jenga pieces fall on their own. You know, if there is a connection there, you know, you guys still have to look at the Mr. Robot connection. They fell on their own. Then that means if this is some sort of symbolic thing, then this is their own doing. You know, another situation where they might be portraying this as somebody else is doing, but it's reality America doing this. Maybe some of the elite for a complete reset. That's the moment when I was like, this is about a reset. I got it very early on in this movie, but that's when I picked it up here. And for those, this was the warning. It says national alert, NCY warning effect immediately. I was supposed to say emergency. Warning effect immediately. Emergency broadcast system issued an unrecognized emergency warning. Now they all leave, right? Amanda and Clay go upstairs. They decide that they're going to allow the George and Ruth to stay, and they're going to stay in the basement after they had gone and conversated. And during this time of conversation, you know, Amanda is throwing out some pretty crazy, not crazy theories, but she's saying that, because, and I kind of went a little bit far, but during that conversation that they had, George offered Clay and Amanda $1,000 if they would let them stay at the Airbnb, refund them basically their money. And he goes to a locked drawer, opens it up, and he ends up handing them was it like $1,000 in a folder.
Yeah.
And what you see inside there, and I have the screenshot. What took us so long was I was trying to put these in order. So there might be some of them not in order. But what was in there also was a handgun, right? Yeah. So the fact that he was able to open it was a little bit of validation to Clay that they owned the house, right? Mm-hmm. But when they were up there talking, she thought that there was no way that they could be the owners. And it felt like there was a racial undertone, that the reason why that they weren't the owners was because of the color of their skin. You know, she even said that he may have been a handyman and she was the help, and that's why they knew where the money was at.
Yeah.
Did you guys take it that way as well?
I did.
Yeah. No, not only that, but I think she also made remarks about, you know, not remarks, but like she was concerned that there were like the kids, her daughter and the son was in their own rooms in the Airbnb rooms, and they don't know what's happening during the night.
Yeah, exactly. And even, you know, she said that her daughter was by herself, and then even Clay goes, what, you think he's not going to molest Archie? Like, kind of telling her like, this is crazy that you're thinking this. Right now, they all end up going to their own rooms. And while they're gone, that national broadcast flickers, and then this image comes up. Crazy thing about this image, though, I don't know if you guys noticed that, but what do you guys see here? What do y'all see there? You see this? Don't all answer at the same time.
I can't tell.
Yeah,
it's a little blurry on my side.
It looks like
I know what it is. It's a QR code, isn't it?
It is a QR code.
Yeah. I remember seeing that. I was like I couldn't see it right now, but I was like, okay, yeah, that's a QR code. I forgot about that.
So this QR code takes you to a website, Lake Shawnee, and there's an abandoned amusement park with a pretty horrible past. Apparently, back in the day, white settlers massacred Native Americans on this land and took their land away from them. All right. So this is another incident. You had the White Lion incident. Mm-hmm. Now you have this incident where they are showing you some of the historical stuff that Caucasian folks have done in America as to why, they took land, they took people, right? I think this is somewhat symbolic that, this happened to you guys in the past. y'all, everybody kind of says, don't worry about the past, don't be living in the past. Well, sometimes people take for granted that those things that they had done in the past could happen to us in the present from somebody else or our own people, right? So, like, for instance, somebody could come and take our land. I've talked to a couple of people. One of my friends who was saying that, they wanted free college and free stuff. And I had told them, I was like, just join the military. You get a government job, you get free college, you get a house that they pay for. You don't have to worry about work. As long as you don't do anything illegal or wrong, you'd be set for life. Right. As long as you maintain it. And they're like, no, I don't want to go to war or this or that. And I was like, well, I mean, you're thinking that the war could never come to us. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And I think this is what this could be. They're showing what I think is the start of showing what Americans have done in the past, and now why they're doing it to them now. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Especially farther down the movie. I guess we're gonna have to wait for that. Yeah, that's gonna be party on. I think it's on chapter 4 or whatever. But I think that's why there's different languages being sent out.
Oh yeah. So this is the basement that George and Ruth go down to. And they're sitting down in front of that sign. And this is the conversation that they have. She says, we need to get them out of here. And he says, we're not going to do that by scaring them. They need to think everything is going to be okay. And she goes, isn't everything going to be okay? And she asks him, what else did your client tell you? Is there anything else? So this is the first time that we get a glimpse that there is something that he knows, or somebody that he is connected to that knows something more than what they're saying. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yes,
also that map behind them. Did you see it?
Yeah. I got pictures of this map close up. I'll see if I can pull them up. You know what? Let me do that right now.
Yeah, that map kept catching my eye when I was watching it.
Oh yeah, was it catching your eye, Blue?
Yeah.
We're at 33. All right, hold on. All right, let's see. Let me look up that map real quick. I have it. I don't have it in order, but I have it somewhere here. Give me a sec.
Yeah, like even through the whole those scenes where they get to the house, and even afterwards they go into their the rooms, to spend the night.
Yeah.
Like I noticed that the women were the ones that are more like a little bit more
in control.
A little bit more in control than not in control itself, but like they're more wary of the circumstances. They're both suspicious, and the men are a little bit more,
naive.
They're more, a little bit more naive. You want to say that?
Yeah, I saw that too.
But then again, like at the same time, it's like when you open that drawer and got the money out, he could have easily got that gun. He got to it, but it just shows you that what's it called, like the way the movie is trying to tell you, like, oh, maybe you shouldn't be so trusting with the people that are coming to the door that you don't know. The movie's trying to tell you that to put you on the edge.
Yeah. I'm gonna lighten this up because I can't read anything.
Well, it's like that story I sent y'all about the TikToker that got invited out to Miami. That was a crazy scenario.
So you got invited to Miami?
No, I am a TikToker, but no, it was a story about this female influencer that got invited to Miami, and it was supposedly from one of the big resorts out there, and they told her, come out to the hotel, we'll treat you to a room for the weekend, and bring a friend, bring a female friend.
Mm-hmm.
So as the time was coming, her two female friends, I guess, couldn't make it. So she ended up bringing a guy friend. So when she landed at the airport, there was a driver waiting for her. And then the driver was like, okay, I see you, but where's your friend? And she's like, oh, he's right here. It's like, well, it's supposed to be a female. And she's like, no, all my female friends canceled, but I'll just pay for his stuff here. You know, he can stay in my room, and I'll pay for his. Y'all don't have to comp his stuff. I'll pay for it.
Mm-hmm.
And then so they walk to the car, and they get in the car, and then there was somebody in the car, and he asked, "Who's this guy? Where's your female friend that's supposed to be with you?" And that the guy is like, start talking to each other, supposedly in Portuguese or something, and they're arguing. You know that, and she asked her again, "Where's your other female friend?" Like, what's a male friend? You know, I'll talk to the manager. You know, so one of the guys just gets out and throws her luggage on the floor and tells him to get out of the car. Right, and it was like a big Escalade, fancy Escalade. She was saying it's a black SUV. I would say Escalade or Suburban. So when she was messaging the hotel, nobody was responding to her. And it was probably about 30 minutes, and the guy's like, "Well, why don't we just Uber to the hotel? It's only like 5 minutes away. We'll talk to the manager, and we'll get this situated." So they Ubered to the hotel, and they were talking to the manager, and the manager was saying, you know, we're talking to, I think the storyline's name was Melissa. We're talking to Melissa, your social media director, and the manager's like, "Okay, how can I help you again?" It's like, "Yeah, your driver picked us up. He was rude. He got mad because I didn't have the other female with me. I brought a male friend, and he threw us out of the car. You know, I want to, you know, complain to you, and I want to apologize. I want to say, hey, can I still stay for the weekend? I'm here." And the manager's like, "Who are you talking to again?" She's like, "Well, Melissa." She's like, "And you said she does her social media?" She's like, "I do the social media uh, communications, and I have no influencers coming in this weekend." And then, you know, so she found out that she was trying to probably get kidnapped or bamboozled, man. They flew all the way out there, and they found out the account was fake. So, you know, people have to watch out what they do online now.
Papa Rogers.
Yeah, dude. 100%. So this is a map of American violence. It says the map of American violence is incomplete. Please write in whatever you find lacking. I mean, it's talking about, from what I can see, there's a Spanish-American War. You know, how many dead, how many wounded. There's going to be other wars and battles that's showing dead and wounded. But this is violence of America. The United States of America, founded by the American people on September 13, 1971, at the Attica prison, New York, where 42 men gave their lives in a heroic struggle for freedom. Interesting poster to have on. Well, what do you guys think about this poster? We'll start off with you, Ham.
Yeah, that's like, imagine if you go to an Airbnb and you see this shit, you'll be like, "What the hell's going on?" It's like, I'm gonna write down there. It's like that time where we lost like 100 subscribers last year. That's violence.
Yeah. So this is like I said, going back to everything. That was the map on the wall. This is, you know, with him talking a little bit about the client when we first find out that he may know some things that we don't know. Here's the bedroom painting. Remember, the last time we saw it, that wave was just above the top of this bed frame. Now it's almost to halfway up the roof or up to the ceiling. You know, waves are bigger. A lot more confusion, in my opinion, a lot more hecticness going on in their life, and I think that's a symbolic reason, or that's symbolic of what's going on in their lives. Do you guys agree or disagree?
Do you think it's a cheap camera trick, or can you put the other picture on there and compare them?
Oh no, it's. Let me pull it up real quick.
I don't remember the other ones. The ways they look calmer.
So just give you guys an idea of how much stuff we got to go on through. There it is. Hold on, let me see. Where was it at?
It was probably like the 10th photo.
There it is. It was the 12th. Oh. So you can see how high off the.
Oh yeah, it's two different.
You
photos.
See, yeah, you see where the lamp is, and then
they were a lot calmer back then.
Yeah, and then you go to this one. It's like way up here. I mean, it's noticeably higher.
It goes with the theme of the movie too. How like a little stuff is starting to get more hectic as it goes on.
Yeah. So this morning, this little girl walks outside, right? And you know, she sees some deer, and there's a couple of deer here. They start coming out, and boom, the Hunter Paradise right here. Blue, mute yourself. Hunter's Paradise. Look at all his deer. Deer back here, deer in the background, the foreground.
So we throw a grenade.
Look at this sucker right here. Shit. Right here.
Oh yeah.
That's the ones they always say shoot. Shoot the ones with the ugly horns. That way they don't reproduce.
That's a big rack on that deer right there, man. So,
I know, but it looked webbed, and then the web ones where they say
that's web.
It looked a little web to me.
Well, I think it's the tree behind it.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, I think it's a tree too. So then they go back inside and they cut to a scene where you have the Nationals versus the Atlanta Braves. They still have the Brave symbol on their logo. Didn't they change their name to something different?
I'm not really sure, man.
I know there's a controversy with them, but I don't know if they changed the name.
I'm gonna look this up. I'm gonna have to now.
Yeah,
I know that they changed the chant that they have.
Yeah, well, it's not the.
Yeah, I don't think
well,
they can use it.
No, they said they would not be changing their name. And during this video, you hear the chant.
Oh, really?
And you see, yeah, you hear the chant and you see the arms chopping. And look at the individuals that are on the screen. You know, a white guy with blonde hair and sunglasses. Another white guy with sunglasses. White guy with sunglasses. Black with
put up that white guy with sunglasses. It looks like this guy. Is that the guy?
Is that the guy?
Sure.
It does look a little. It looks a little close there.
Yeah.
But I mean, this is another, in my opinion, a way of showing some things that have been canceled out there because, you know, their inappropriateness to the world. So we're going to part 3. This is the noise.
I gotta go, guys. You have a good night.
Good night, my man. So, oh boy,
see you in part 2.
See you in part 2. So Clay takes off, right? And he goes to go and try to find, you know, help or whatever the case may be. And he ends up pulling over because he gets lost, and he gets pulled over in front of this place called like Tanny Farms or whatnot. And apparently there's some racial stuff that goes with the name Tanny. I think it was like a plantation or something back in the day. It was pretty insane. Another freaking, you know, racial type of thing. And while he gets out of his car and he's looking for service, this is when 1619 pops up. Again, remember, that's when there's a lot of things that come up with 1619 and slavery, right? That year, there's a 1619. That's what this guy did. I want to say it was this guy, Tanny. He didn't think that slaves or blacks should be considered U.S. citizens. So one of them, it was either him or the Huckabee, but one of them did. And 1619 was when that ship landed and first slaves were brought to America.
Makes sense. It makes sense.
And here's where it starts talking about some things, right? It says, while he's outside, obviously when he's not around his to hear it, there's a broadcast that says that there were some hackers, and it's led to some catastrophic environmental disasters in the South. There's the fallout from the cyber attack, but it also basically said that migration patterns have changed, which is why we're seeing animals and deer and stuff like that. Here's the thing. It started off, well, the environmental aspects are in the South. Where do you think most red states are?
South.
So do you think that was purposefully sent out that way?
I'm sure it would.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
That's my thing.
You know, this scene right here, right? This one right here.
Yeah.
I was like, it had no subtitles, man. And I was like,
did you know what it said?
Oh yeah, no, but I was like, you know, like if people who didn't have the subtitles, like they didn't know what she was saying. I felt kind of like special.
Did you feel special? Well, today you're going to help out those that don't feel special by explaining to us
That's the wrong picture.
What the sound was.
The what?
You're gonna explain to us what the sound is. So we're gonna break it down piece by piece, and then you'll let us know what they say. All right. So what is that saying right there? You hear it? Do you hear the sound?
Yeah, I can. It's a little low, but I'm sure she said that to stop, to help her or something like that. Play it again. I can hear. Can you bump up the volume a little bit?
Yeah, let me see if I see this one.
Por favor, pare, señor.
Did you hear it there?
Yeah, she's like, please stop, sir.
Please stop.
Hello.
Yeah.
Hello. Gracias a Dios que encontré a alguien.
So thank God I found someone. I guess she hasn't seen anyone in a while. Can you go back again?
Estoy tratando de regresar a mi casa.
Oh, she's trying to get back home.
Me he desviado. Hace rato que estoy caminando.
I don't understand.
I think she says she's been walking for a while already.
What you're saying. I don't speak Spanish. I don't know where I am.
I'm just pausing it and talking because of the copyright reasons.
Yeah.
I'm trying to get to town.
Necesito usar su teléfono. El mío está muerto.
Oh, she says that she needs to use his phone because hers is dead.
All right. And I think she says something else, but he talks over it. I want to see if you hear it.
Necesito usar su teléfono. El mío está muerto.
No, I don't have any service either.
Oh, it's because it's dead. That's what she said. Yeah, you're right.
Es usted la primera persona que he visto en todo el día.
She said that she's the only person that she's seen all day.
Tenemos que salir de aquí. Acabo de ver un avión que estaba rociando un gas rojo en los alrededores. Pero vi unos.
So we need to get out of here because I just saw a plane like dispersing some sort of red fog or paint or something like that.
Un avión que estaba rociando un gas rojo en los alrededores. Pero vi unos venados, más de 50.
She also said that there's a herd of deer, more than 50, that she came upon.
Saliendo el bosque. Por favor, necesito regresar a mi casa, señor. Me pareció.
She says that she's begging him, it's like that she needs to get back home.
Mi casa, señor. Me pareció que militar salió huyendo. No hay nadie por aquí. Será un ataque químico. Por favor, no me deje.
She said that she thinks it's a chemical warfare.
And she's saying not to leave her there, right?
Yeah. Well, I didn't catch the last part.
Aquí sola, which is I'm scared to be by myself.
Oh yeah.
And then he takes off. Now, this lady here needs to get like a freaking, I don't know what it is. Is it an Emmy, an Oscar? I don't know. I'm not into those things. Yeah. But whatever it is, this lady needs to get it. She was the most convincing actress that I have seen in forever. Like, right? I was generally afraid of her and for her.
She legit put you in that place where it felt real. Like, imagine seeing someone like this at the side of the road, and then for them to act like this with you, that'll be terrifying.
Yeah, it is. And I just, like I said, I'd be terrified. He takes off. You should see his face. He looks like he just shat himself.
It's just it's weird the fact that, you know, earlier in the movie they let in the strangers, the strangers you can say, in the house, but yet he doesn't want to help a defenseless older woman, you know. Yeah. I guess he took, and I guess because like the wife also told him, was like, you got to do something, and that's what he took off to go try to see what's going on. Yeah. But I guess he like kind of made him feel like demasculate him a little bit.
Yeah. Very much so. And here's what we end up seeing. He's driving and then he sees this and he takes off like a bat out of hell. And this is a drone. Now, look at that type of drone. That's not that looks like a drone that that you use outside that I could go buy, right? It has 4 propellers on the outside. It doesn't seem like one of those like special drones that can come from a million miles away. This looks like this probably came from pretty close by.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Now,
No, for sure. Homegrown, I guess you could say.
yeah. Yeah. So he stops and then he goes home and they ask him what's up. He says he got lost. And they ask him if he saw anybody and he lies. He says, no, I didn't see anybody. Yeah. And to me, that's another sign of him being just like a coward, didn't want to come forth, and tell people what happened.
Maybe guilt for leaving her behind.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely that.
Try not to think about it.
And this is what ended up being what was dropped from the sky. And on this side, it says death to America. Archie, the son, says he saw it and he recognized the letters from a video game. And then on the backside, it said something to the effect, I found it somewhere. I should have put it on here, but I got a little bit tied up. It said something about, we're taking over your land. We want the surrender of your land. We have explosives of explosives that have not ever been seen of anybody of the world, stuff like that. And they're basically talking about nuclear weapons and that they want the surrender of land.
Yeah, and this is the stuff that the lady was saying that she saw being dropped. She thought it was gas, but actually it was kind of like almost like pamphlets, right? Or like what are these?
Yeah, like papers.
Flyers. What you can say.
Now, here's the thing. Why do you think it's in a different language?
I don't know, but I know farther down the movie there's a different one.
Mm-hmm.
I think there's different other countries are trying to, take possession of some of the land here in the States.
Could it be that, or could it be that they're trying to make this more real, more believable? If they go and throw out some pamphlets in English, you know what I mean? It's not going to look real to the military, or like that's my theory. Is if the cabal, secret elite that actually run the United States, that are in control of the world, if they're behind something like this, a great reset to reset everything and to basically just knock out America as a superpower, which there's some things that George is going to say about his client that makes me believe that, especially when it comes to the transfer of money. So this tells me, in my opinion, I think this is a ploy or an intent to make people believe that this is real and it's not their own. You know what I'm saying? But I would think that they would send something in English, and they even question it themselves.
Yeah, I think it's just, to put some fear into the people,
Yeah. And I think, let's see, I have here real quick, because that was the last one that I had saved for today's show. But let me see if I can put them in a little bit in order so we can go a little bit further. Let's see, where am I? Because I had done 50 of these. All right.
Yeah, I think you got it to 51, I believe.
Yeah. But I wanted to see if there was one part where I can show that kind of covers this, but that's a little bit further when George starts talking about his client. So that's a little further. So that's where we're going to stop it for today on this part. We'll finish this off maybe tomorrow, maybe Wednesday. I've got to talk to the guys, but yeah, in the second half, we're going to go through the rest of part 3, part 4, and part 5. Now, I hate to leave you guys on a cliffhanger, but this is also already over an hour.
Yeah, and the people who haven't seen it should check it out, and then they can bring in the theories at the end of the show. That'll be fun.
Yeah. If you haven't checked it out, go watch it before we put it back on, because there is a lot there that I'm missing that we didn't see, etc.
Yeah, like even like right now, I have a comment of the eyes. There was 47 eyes on the somebody put it up there.
Oh yeah, there was something about that. I'll get the
eyes. Representing the presidents.
Mhm.
Oh, right here. See see, it could be. I mean, it could be right.
Yeah.
It's just the
Oh,
movie has so many different little messages, and you know, even the way things are placed could be mean something.
no, I agree. I agree. This is where see, I forgot some things out of order. We'll just kind of scan through some of these. This says here they're on the 14th floor. King climbed 14 flights because of his knee. This is one of the nights when they're asleep. We'll get to these later. But I just wanted to get to certain parts that were somewhat close, not going too far out.
I
Oh, there
think
it
the
is.
act.
Here's where he comes back. He opens up the safe, and
Mhm.
there's where there's the gun and the $1,000 that he hands off.
Yeah, I think the
What were we gonna
acting in
say,
this
Hammond?
movie. I think the acting in this movie was pretty good, man. I love seeing Kevin Bacon, man. Like you don't see him in a lot of movies, but when he does a pretty good job. I always like Kevin Bacon. If there's one movie I could watch a nonstop, man, it's probably Tremors with with Kevin Bacon.
Dude, I agree. I agree. See, this is another one that I forgot to put in there. This is when they're walking out after that ship had landed on the beach.
Beach
Uh,
itself, yeah.
yeah, they asked the officer what's going on, and the officer basically says that they've had a few of those happening, along the ocean. And they're driving back, and she can't sleep because of the sirens. No, and I think that's actually a little bit further on.
Yeah.
Let's see. Yeah, I don't want to show too much yet because we haven't gone into it. I just want to get to the parts that I may have missed up to this point. See, there's another one I missed. I didn't realize we're that close on each other either. This is when they decide that they're going to go ahead and allow him to stay. George makes a cocktail. He gives one to Clay. He likes it, and he tells his wife to try it, and she says no thanks. She doesn't want to try it. Oh, these are some of the when they woke up the second day. These were some of the the news that was going on. It talks about hackers being behind the power outage. East Coast of the United States reports power failure and breaking, and then it's like in some weird stuff. I'm not sure.
Isn't it scary how much like we depend on technology, you know? That if it goes down, like there's still a lot of people out there that would not be able to survive.
Yeah.
And it's
No, you're
like,
right, dude. I mean, a lot of people wouldn't. I mean, it's kind of like taking a domesticated dog and throwing them out into the wild. That's basically what we become.
yeah. And then that's where Danny comes in, not Big Blue or you, but the Kevin Bacon character.
Me too. And so this is when they're heading out to the beach and they're doing this drive around. This looks like a power symbol to me. What does it look like to you?
It's a Capcom. I don't know, from Dragon Ball Z.
Yeah. Well, maybe. I don't know. I looked at it and I thought power symbol.
Yeah, like when you turn on and off stuff.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
pretty much
yeah.
what yeah, it does. I'm looking at the one on my computer right now. It's like, oh shit, it really does.
Let's see. Oh, see, this is where. See, I knew I missed a few of them. It's because there were so many. So this is where they were arguing. Where I told you she even called him, possibly the help, and her the help and him the handyman. She goes, "This
Yeah.
really doesn't seem like their house. Maybe he's the handyman and she's the housekeeper."
Yeah.
Not believing that they possibly could own this house based on, they're saying based on their race, basically.
Yeah.
But he does say something weird that she catches on. And it sucks that I forgot to put this in there. She goes, "You said you heard about the blackout while you're on your way home." I'm trying to remember what he said that he had heard. Oh, one of his clients. Something about his client. I forgot to put this. This is Taylor. This guy's girlfriend. Shoot, they're all out of order.
Yeah, there's a scene in there that I think everybody's already dreamt before. You know what I'm talking about, right?
Yeah.
I dreamt that before, and I was like, "What the hell does that mean?" That's,
you know
that's on part 2. That's on part 2.
That is on part 2. You know what I forgot? It's this part. All right, this part we have to talk about. All right. Oops, wrong button. So this is, remember when I told you guys about the baseball scene or whatever?
Yeah.
Julia Roberts is talking to Ruth, and Ruth's talking about hackers and power plants during this time.
Mm-hmm.
And she's basically telling her that, you know, they can break in. And she talks about the situation that happened in the early 2000s that had to do with hackers causing a blackout in New Jersey. Well, that was off of Mr. Robot's show. That's what they were doing.
Oh, yeah.
He says it could be as innocent as the love you bug, where people were sending, you know, a virus and an email that says, I love you. And
like
when you opened it,
right?
Yeah, it chainmailed out of it. I'm wondering if that incident, it's funny that they bring it up. So I'm wondering if that incident alone had, you know, maybe, you know, obviously they put a stop to it, but I wonder if this was the plan, you know, to go from one person to another to eventually infect all these computers and get into the satellites.
Yeah, because I'm thinking later on in the show, they noticed that the satellite phone's not even working.
Yeah.
Right. So, I mean, I think he also mentioned that it was just like, it was 2 teenagers, like,
I think in the Philippines.
In the Philippines, that just literally hacked into it and everything.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think that there's something to do with these tattoos that she has. I'm gonna try to get a couple of images. There's the 96 here, and then she has the word "fool" tattooed on her left arm. See, this is that New Jersey thing a few years back. What do you think? Why would somebody get the tattoo "fool" on their arm?
I don't know. I don't. Even though I never have tattoos, so I wouldn't know. I think when you get tattoos, it's for a meaning, right? Something personal.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know about this case. I know everything in this movie is placed. You know, it's not under just for shits and giggles. It's there for a reason. You know.
Yeah. You know, the word "fool." Yeah, I started thinking to myself, why would somebody tattoo "fool"? F-U-L-L. Unless they're trying to claim that they're, I don't know, full-blooded.
Damn, maybe.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, could be.
She seems kind of proactive that way, like that. Not proactive. What's the word I'm looking for? A part of that, like, woke scene type of thing. You know what I'm saying? Like an activist. There we go. She seems like she's actively, you know, fighting for rights and things like that. Well, nothing wrong with it at all. Either. I'm not saying that's a bad thing. I'm just saying that's the type of person that she appears to come off as. I mean, there's a scene here where it goes into her bedroom and it has a lot of like Black history stuff all over the walls. So it seems like she's very much an activist for her race. What do you think?
Yeah, she portrays that. And so in certain scenes, especially the way she talks to her dad.
Yeah. Yeah. She even says that at one point that they should not trust, you know, if this world is going to hell, they shouldn't trust anybody, especially white people. And that is what she says in this movie.
Yeah.
And then she goes on to say, even mom would agree with that one. Kind of telling me that mom is probably also not Caucasian. You know, so then both parents are probably African American. The word "fool" tattooed on her arm. You know,
yeah,
I don't know.
I
see that. I don't know. I could be wrong. You know?
Yeah.
Let's see. That's the last one. All right. Well, I mean, there's a ton more we have to go through.
Yeah, there's a lot more, but that was the last one because they're not in order.
Yeah, they're not in order. at all. And I'll be able to get through some of these. Here it is, just so in case. This is the bedroom scene where she's scared and she's asking, shouldn't trust. No, trust should not be doled out to anyone easily, especially white people. Even mom would agree with me on that. So that's the scene that I'm referring to. Interesting stuff. There's a lot more to go through. The ending, a lot of people don't like, but I think I know what it's a symbol of, to be honest with you. It's symbolic, and I think I figured out what that symbol is. We're going to talk about that next time. Make sure you like and subscribe. Do you have any final words, Jaime, before we let everybody go?
No, just thanks everyone. Watch the movie so you can comment and talk about it on their part 2.
Yeah, I thought it was a really good movie. I thought it was terrifying. It's probably the scariest horror movie I've seen in a while because it's possible.
Not only that, but like the score itself, man, it keeps you on the edge. Like through the whole movie, the score is just like boom, 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 suspense all the way through. Loved it.
Oh yeah, it was a great movie. Like I said, I wasn't too thrilled on watching it, in the beginning, just because I don't really like political stuff one way or the other, to be honest with you. And when I heard about Cabal, my conspiracy side of me kind of perked up and said, all right, let's break it down. Let's look at what it is. And I've literally gone through every frame of this movie. I just got to put it in order, or finish putting it in order. I appreciate it. That's part 2. I appreciate you guys. Please like and share this content with your friends. Anybody you see is interested in this movie, share this. Let them know that this is what we think. Let us know what you think in the comment section of the Replay Crew. With that being said, we're out of here. Peace.